This is the Raiders of old, and this is the Raiders of today. Let's talk about why the Raiders are primed to take over the NFL in 2025. All right, Raiders and Raiderettes, I know it's only the end of the preseason and we haven't even begun the first game of the regular season. But I think that the Las Vegas Raiders are absolutely primed to dominate in 2025, despite all of the naysayers and all of the haters. The Las Vegas Raiders are in a strong position to not only win a lot of games, make the playoffs, but shock and surprise a mass amount of people out there in the world because of the fact that they now have a championship caliber head coach. They now have a championship caliber offensive coordinator. They now have stability on the defense. They now have stability at the quarterback. And the Raiders have the best offensive weapons that you could possibly hope for in Brock Bowers, who literally could surpass Rob Gronkowski's career, and Ashton Jeanty, who is by far the most exciting prospect to come out of college football at the running back position in the past 20 plus years. Let's get into the details. Thank you so much for being here. I am the Raider D here on the Raider D podcast, and I simply could not do this without you. So do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so, if you bleed silver and black. If you don't, go ahead and move on from this video. No problem. No sweat off our back because it's Raider Nation first. And if you like this type of content, smash that like button down below. Now, let's get into today's video as to why I think that the Las Vegas Raiders are really going to dominate piece by piece. Obviously, we have to start off with the head coach and the signing of Pete Carroll. Tonight, the Raiders are going to be taking on the Arizona Cardinals, yet another NFC West team. The Raiders have played 3 NFC West teams in the preseason. All of our preseason games were against them. It is not a coincidence why the NFL wants to see Pete Carroll go against the old teams that he used to coach for and compete against. Now, it hasn't turned out that great in the preseason. We don't have a single victory yet. We were on a possibility and a good trajectory to get that victory at the end of the game against the San Francisco 49ers, or at the very least have another tied game like we did with Seattle, but it just didn't pan out that way. Cam Miller made a terrible mistake and it cost us the game. But he's a rookie, and that's what we want to see. How can he perform at the last minute when everything is on his shoulders? He's not there yet. He's not ready to be a superstar. Maybe he never will be. Time will tell in that matter. Now, what is more important is the coaching coming out of the Las Vegas Raiders in regards particularly to Coach Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll is a Super Bowl champion. Pete Carroll is a collegiate champion. Pete Carroll is a professor. Pete Carroll is a motivator. Pete Carroll is a very intelligent and understanding of football, men, character, etc. And he is a big-time culture builder. And that's why, as the preseason is getting ready to wrap up and the Raiders are getting ready to launch into the 2025 NFL regular season, I am absolutely stoked, hyped, and pumped for this team. Now, are we a perfect team? Are there a lot of growing pains that the Raiders still have to do? Yes, but that's exactly why you want to have a fantastic head coach at the helm of this organization, and bringing in a guy like Tom Brady, a champion-minded dude who understands football, has really helped to stabilize this situation. Was it a travesty of how everything panned out with Antonio Pierce? Yes, he never really got a chance to do anything, but at the same time, the chance that he did have, it just didn't seem like he took enough opportunities to maximize his opportunity. So this is why I'm 100% all in on Coach Pete Carroll. If any coach could get it done, it is a proven winner like him. Now let's move on to the offensive side of the board when it comes to the offensive coordinator. Something that the Raiders have really struggled with for many, many years now. And the fact that we have Chip Kelly calling the plays, I think that this offense is going to, 1, be more dynamic, 2, more successful, and 3, more motivated every time that they step out on the field because they're going to consistently be able to score points, which is going to boost the morale of this offense and make them play better and make them play harder. And mark my words, I think that bringing him in was one of the best things that the Raiders could possibly do. And we are setting him up. If we keep him as OC for the next 3 to 4 years, I know he's itching to get back into the NFL as a head coach. This would be a great transition for him to really learn the people side of it from a great people coach like Pete Carroll, so that eventually he could possibly take over and possibly continue the run that the Raiders could be on. Now, how is that going to pan out when you have a guy 33, 34 years old in a Geno Smith? Well, we have to be looking to the future for his eventual replacement, and I think Cam Miller is a possibility. However, that being said, I'm not going to go all in on a guy that we drafted in the 6th round out of North Dakota State. I'm going to wait and see what the Raiders do in the future. I think that AOC's time has pretty much come and gone. He is probably going to lose his spot on this roster as QB2, and Cam Miller will take that position over. He may even get dropped all the way down to the practice squad. Now, with that being said, the Raiders now have to be looking in the future for that eventual quarterback replacement. There's been a lot of speculation that the Raiders should go out and get a guy like Anthony Richardson. If the Raiders were to go out and trade for Anthony Richardson, is this a situation that the Raiders really should do? Well, he is an athlete, bar none. He has been injury prone. That is a big problem with him. He does not throw the ball well, and he doesn't read coverages very well. And that is a big problem. But he's got the arm strength and the zip on the ball. If you can get him to sit on the bench, not pressure him to be the starter, sit behind a guy who is one of the most accurate passers in the NFL in Geno Smith, you could really have a gem in the rough with an Anthony Richardson. And I just think as long as it wouldn't cost the Raiders more than a 4th round draft pick, the Raiders should make an actual attempt to go out and upgrade that position, because Aiden O'Connell, as much as I love him and as much as I think that he is a quality backup quarterback, a guy who is going to be a very good teammate, he's going to study, he's going to understand the playbook, and he's going to be able to get in any position that you put him in and have some success. However, that success is going to be limited, part and due to the fact that he has very bad pocket awareness, and he's basically got 2 giant blocks of cement on his feet. Despite all of the improvement in his body, he still has not corrected the fact that he cannot move in or out of the pocket. I think that it may be time to upgrade that QB2 situation and make it a real competition between a Cam Miller and an Anthony Richardson. I think that would be a great idea for the Raiders to do. Now let's move over to the defensive side of the ball. But before we get into the defense, I do just want to say thank you to Box House for being a big time supporter of this channel. We couldn't do it without him. Thank you, my guy, Kevin Ross, the head owner over there at Box House. You need an ADU, you need a mother-in-law suite to put the mother-in-law in so that she ain't living upstairs right next to your master bedroom. Go ahead and give Box House a call. Kevin over there will take great care of you. They got the best prices in the country, quality product, and they can deliver basically anywhere. So thank you, Box House, for being such an amazing company. There are 3 things that we need to cover about our defense this year that is both a bonus as well as a negative. Let's start out on the defensive line. Despite losing Christian Wilkins, I think that the Raiders are in great shape on this defensive line as it is right now. Malcolm Koonce is back and healthy, that he will be the starter opposite of Max Crosby come week 1. And obviously, Max Crosby looks absolutely phenomenal, dominating in all of the scrimmages that he has played in so far, as well as just talking big smack and hyping up this entire team. The interior, Adam Butler, still looking like a high quality defensive tackle that we have basically gotten for dirt cheap. And we have some young studs who are coming in and making a name for themselves. And so I really think that this may be a good situation. Plus, the emergence of Tyree Wilson at defensive tackle. Being moved over there in a more full-time situation, he has really found a niche that he can start to dominate in, and he has really done a great job of it. Will that continue to be the case in the regular season? Will we see Tyree Wilson get over 12 sacks this year and a bunch of pressures and a bunch of tackles behind the line of scrimmage? That remains to be seen. But All signals are pointing in the right direction with him, and I can't wait to see what he's going to become. That's the good thing about this line right now. Here's the bad thing about the defense, and that is at linebacker, we have a ton of questions. At safety and corner, we still have a ton of questions. Who is really going to be able to gel this secondary and the linebacker core together and make it become at least a top 12 defensive secondary? Because if it's not, the Raiders are going to be in a lot of high-scoring games, a lot of shootouts, because our defense can't stop anybody. And if that's the case, the Raiders may not be able to be as dominant as I am hoping they will be. But I am 100% confident that this offense, with the offensive coordinator that we have, with a highly accurate plus deep throwing quarterback in Geno Smith, Brock Bowers is going to feast this year. Michael Mayer is going to have the best year of his career. Jakobi Meyers probably going to break the best year of his career, which was last year. And I think Dante Thornton Jr. is going to quickly rise into the superstardom by midseason, because that guy is completely unguardable for any corner in the NFL. Only thing is, he's got to get the timing down with him and Geno Smith, and once that happens, just watch the fireworks fly.